João, it's great to have you here on Fintech Frontiers podcast today. As CEO of Fraudio, you've built an impressive company at the forefront of AI-powered fraud detection and payments optimization. I'm really looking forward to diving into your journey and insights. To start, would you be able to share with our audience the big problem that you and your team discovered in the payment space and really how you came about discovering that?
Sure. Stephen, first of all, thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure, and looking forward to having a nice chat with you. Going back a few years, we were working in a Dutch acquiring bank. I was heading the data products department, and we actually started implementing let's say an authorization rate optimization tool. So we did automated retries. We opened the envelope, so to say. So we opened the transactions up and started tweaking transactions when they got rejected. And we were changing parameters in the transactions when it made sense, and managed to get an uplift for a lot of our merchants of over 20% in their authorization rate. So that caught everyone's attention. And the flip side to it was that we had to keep fraud in check. So we had to make sure that the transactions that we were getting approved were good, right? Were good transactions, not fraudulent ones. So this acquiring bank was working with actually a couple of what are now my competitors,
right?
And we tried to use them, but the process was really difficult. So we were using 3 different processors. Each processor had their own data schema,
Mm-hmm.
and these 2 anti-fraud solutions were operating each of them in over 1 different data schema.
Yes.
And they couldn't be used easily to cover the scenario that I had to cover. Also, things had evolved in the company. Our data schema was slightly different from the ones that they had seen.
Yes.
And so I got in contact with them and asked, how can we do this? And they sent me a hefty quote.
Right.
And I said that, sure, we can do it. It will take 6 months, whatever. It's going to cost you
A lot.
A lot. And I said, no, okay, that won't do it. I'll do it myself. So just built our own fraud models. But it got me thinking that this was really problematic in the industry. So every acquiring bank, every processor, at the end of the day, right? Every company connecting to the card schemes, they have their own data schema.
Yes.
And so data isn't really compatible across acquirers, payfacs, etc. Especially on the acquiring side. On the issuing side, it's a little bit cleaner because it goes through the scheme, so data becomes a little bit more compatible. But so what I did was to map all of those 3 different data schemas into one artificial data schema, our own data schema.
Okay. Then that's the total universe of fields that are needed.
Exactly. And so then we basically translated all the data that we had, all the transactions that we had in real time as well, to that target data schema. And this allowed me to train models only once for all the data, all the different transactions going through all the different processors. And that got me thinking, I might as well take this to the market and do it in a different way, because instead of doing it, as a service, almost like everyone else is doing, I can really productize this, and I can really put this on our own platform and allow clients to connect to our platform. We do the mapping, and then the model's already there. This was really what was behind the.
Great. So you were living in the problem. You were living in the problem. You were on the other side of the desk, so to speak. So you really you knew it, and you understood it inside out. May I ask? So you've got the different data schemas turning up. What does, from a fraud point of view in an acquiring bank, how does that problem then emerge? Like, is it that you're having higher fraud or more, safe transactions being rejected, or what are the kind of symptoms of this problem?
Yeah, so the symptoms end up being that you need to train models for your data, and this is a problem in itself. If you have a lot of data, you still need to go through that
Right.
The process of understanding your data,
Mhm.
building contextualization fields
Yes.
because this is something that anyone in the industry will tell you. It's really not efficient or effective to try and find out if a transaction is fraudulent out of context. So
Yes. Yes.
just looking at one transaction,
Yeah.
you really need to look at the sequence of transactions. So
Yeah.
the same cards or the same shopper and the same merchant, or if you're on the issuing side, just a very long sequence of transactions, payments with one card or multiple cards for the same
Yes.
clients, right?
So it's all about context.
It's all about context. It's all about context. But the moment you sort of know what type of context you need to produce, generate. But then if the data fields are, if you need to go in and as a anti-fraud company or consultant, you need to go in and map those or understand which fields, for instance, represent that the transaction is from something as simple as the card brand.
Yes.
In some data schemas, the card brand will be called marca, or card brand or
Yes.
card scheme, whatever. And then the value might be Visa, MasterCard, but it might also be 1, 2 or AB or some other representation of Visa and MasterCard. So then if you need to do that at scale for every field and for every client of yours, it's a lot of work. It really is a lot of work. And so from the client's perspective, this work's going to have to be paid. It's going to take time. So that when engaging with a services-oriented fraud detection company, you can expect 6 to 12 months at least of integration. Yeah. And until you're live, I would say, I would say at least 12 months, really, because they need to understand the data, go in, integrate, maybe deploy on-prem, and then they need to allocate a team of data scientists to actually to create machine learning models for your specific data. It's a lengthy, costly process.
Yes, and it is machine learning it is machine learning models which are great at looking at long transaction streams and identifying anomalies. So you've basically with Fraudio, you've been able to productize that. Is that into a kind of, is it a SaaS B2B or is it integrated by API?
It is API based, easy to integrate with, and the moment a client connects, they benefit from all the work that we've done over the years for all of our clients. We've processed.
So that there are insights, and is that, I hear this term federated learning, where there are insights that are gained, say across an industry without compromising confidential information. Is that a concept that applies here, or is it slightly different in as much as it's coming through your product?
It is slightly different. So because we really centralize everyone's data. So we anonymize and centralize everyone's data, and then we train in a centralized way. So federated learning is more about actually doing isolated learnings and then trying to generalize a few things.
Yes.
I won't go too deep into it, but conceptually it is different. But the benefit is really that whatever work we do for our client or for one new client applies directly to everyone else, and this comes in the form of not only models, but also rules and also compliance rules. So the moment we've received requirements from a regulator, say in India, we encode the requirements from the regulator into our platform.
Yeah.
And then we build a compliance package effectively for that country that new clients, when they get on board, they can use immediately.
Yeah.
It's the time to value, I think it's a huge, or a short time to value is a huge advantage that we have.
Super. So that 6 to 12 months is being compressed now.
Yeah, I would say to 6 weeks. And especially when we work with integrated channel partners. So payment processors like on the acquiring side, like Silverflow out of the Netherlands, or on the issuing side, Pismo, a Visa company.
Yes.
Paymentology, Yalamanchili, a large issuer processor in Asia, Southeast Asia, and others. So the moment we integrate with these processors, then effectively they take us to their acquiring clients, to their issuing clients, and the integration is already done. So we already
integrated.
so the only thing that we need to do is really to create a tenant, a new subtenant, and we're able to populate their dashboards, get it live and set up within a week, really.
Super. And like, it sounds like you're gaining footprint around the globe. Could you tell me a little bit about the journey? Like, so at some point you left the position in acquiring bank, you really understood the problem. You took some risk, you went out there and set up Fraudio to address that. Can you tell me, when did that journey start? Where are you into it, and where are you now?
Sure. So we started in 2019, spun off effectively from ING, the bank ING,
Yes.
the big orange bank, and we spun off in 2019.
Were you spun out? Were you actually spun out from the bank?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Super.
So then in 2020 we went to market. So we got our first clients, high profile clients like Viva Wallet.
Yeah. During COVID.
Yeah, correct. During COVID, it was a very interesting period. By the way, we are in the process, because we started before COVID, but then COVID came. We actually are remote first. So we're pretty remote. We have the ability to go to shared co-working spaces where people but pretty remote. But going back to the story, so 2019 spun off, 2020 went to market and started acquiring clients. We started primarily in Europe, and then over the years have acquired a number of very interesting clients in the UK as well. Cash flows, for instance, a large acquire Taya, previous SoldPay, and we've expanded early to Latin America. We have a number of clients in Latin America, ranging from Mexico all the way down to Uruguay. We I think the last client we closed just last week was actually in Costa Rica. We have the ability to cover multiple global regions, and then over the years we went east. So we have a strong presence in Southeast Asia, where we have 4 or 5 banks in the Philippines. We have clients in Singapore, the largest fintech in Singapore. We have a very large issuer processor in India that distributes us in the region to issuers. And our latest expansion was we're actually carrying it out now. We're deploying in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in the Emirates, and covering Egypt also from there, and the whole GCC region. So found an amazing partner in Saudi Arabia, Interpay, and they will distribute us in Saudi Arabia, and close a partnership with Amazon for them to be be in the marketplace soon. Effectively also distribute us in the region. Been closing deals there, and it's a very very interesting target region for us.
And are you taking strategic steps into markets and preparing kind of compliance packs, or you've been dragged into the market by customers who just can't wait to get their hand on your product?
I would say it's the latter.
Really? Yeah.
So
Nice.
So some were a little bit more intentful. I would say that our expansion to India and to the GCC were a little bit more intentful. But they were client driven.
Yes.
But because then entering, but because of specificities in those markets, it is actually difficult to serve clients there. So you need to do some form of setup. So we need to be deployed there, because data cannot actually leave the certain countries because of data residency regulation. So
So you've obviously you see the opportunity you say, okay, well, there's going to be this setup cost. We're not in this market, but I guess the deal is able to stand on its own, and that you're able to localize to the market and roll out the service, and then I suppose land and expand by the sound. Yeah.
Exactly.
Super. And where are you on that? So you started in 2019. You built your base in Europe, and you've been expanding into different markets. Very impressive. What's next then? Are you looking at further expansion into the markets, or maybe widening out the offering that you have to the existing clients, or what's the strategic imperative?
Yeah, good question. So we started mostly on the acquiring side. We've expanded to the issuing side. We're very strong on the issuing side now. We started with fraud detection products. We've expanded to anti-money laundering, and we now have a very strong compliance package that we can offer to clients. We cover basically everything that has to do with reprocessing transactions. So card scheme compliance, we're able to offer TRA exemptions to our acquiring clients. There's really a lot that we can do. We also help do investigations. And that's where the generative AI comes in.
Yes. Tell me more about that, because this.
Yeah, so we're developing agents that help human agents in doing investigations. So there's a lot of information available online. Basically, we're trying to do what we do ourselves. So we're trying to replicate that and take us out of the equation first and foremost. I'll tell you why this is interesting. So we have a very strong merchant monitoring suite. So we look for merchants that are fraudulent, that do fraud themselves, so that process stolen cards, and that's obviously something that financially or puts a large financial risk with the companies that process those merchants, PayFax acquirers. And so when we detect a merchant that's fraudulent, we generate a report. And years ago, not really anymore. The reports are very good these days, but years ago, we would go in and check every report, and we would actually do things like check where the headquarters of this merchant, the registered headquarters are. We would go on Google Street View. And look if it.
Look at the place. That doesn't look right.
Exactly. Does it look?
That's a
good,
resident.
or is it really? Or is it really dodgy? And we did a bunch of actions and gathered a lot of information. That turns out to be very, very these days turns out to be very automatable. So we're building agents that do these investigations at scale.
Great. Super. Yeah, no, I can see that it would be. And is there any particular technology for your agentic frameworks that you find brilliant?
So there are several developments over the last few months. We're talking about months or weeks, right? Things are changing, and so now there are standards actually for agents. So a few months ago it was basically the Far West. It still is.
Yes, but standards coming in.
The standards are coming in, and so it is starting to basically you can now even crawl certain websites and you identify your crawler.
Yes.
And so then you are allowed to go in.
Okay.
And so, but these keep changing, and so I would say that.
Who's setting those standards then, or where are they turning up? For agentic frameworks that are maybe doing investigative work.
Yeah. So specifically for investigative work, there aren't any. There aren't any.
But you're saying there's some standards that you're starting to see.
There are standards for agent crawling mechanisms. Yeah.
Yes.
But at this point in time, we're just being creative and trying to. Fetch information.
Yes.
And then feed it to a commercial LLM. And try to give it as much context as possible. The context windows are also getting larger and larger. And so we're just refining prompts and figuring out what type of context we need to provide for then an LLM to be able to give us useful outputs.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's all about context and having the right data sets there. I've spoken to a lot of fintech founders, and what I'm seeing is, say, in the fintech sector, that maybe only sort of 5 to 10% of the fintechs that I've been speaking to anyway have actually got, say, Gen AI in production. But most everybody is using, LLMs, maybe on an ad hoc basis and experimenting. And I think that most fintech founders are thinking about the high value use cases because they can see the potential, also understand the weaknesses or the limitations. And I think where we're seeing it turning up quite a bit is initially in that internal or the back end. We're saying we're keeping this internal. We're not putting it client facing initially, getting comfortable with it, refining it. We've seen one cash management fintech, pushing forward with the cash management co-pilot, so that it's what the humans are doing, and then giving them another tool to say, you can kind of get a lot more done quickly, kind of leveraging these, but maybe that opens the door then for it being done more by an agent later. So it's step by step and experimentation.
Exactly. It makes sense, and it's really. It's not a, I don't think it should be a me too type of activity, right? I don't know, a chatbot. What value does it bring to clients? Whatever whatever feature you bring to your clients needs to add value, right? And value in the fraud space and in the fraud fighting space is, what lies in doing things that are already being done in an easier, more efficient and better way. I'll give you an example. Writing rules. Writing rules is a critical activity for fraud managers, right? And writing good rules is actually pretty difficult. So when you want to come up with the pattern that you want to encode that makes sense, then once you figure out the pattern that you want to encode, you need to look for the fields that are available to you, to encode that pattern. And then you need to, select the values, the thresholds of application to that rule. This at scale, when you have a lot of transactions, you need to be able to do this in, because otherwise this is extremely time consuming and it's also guesswork. So what we're doing is we're having an AI actually read the pattern that the analyst or the manager wants to encode, and then suggest an actual encoding in the form of rules that are built with the fields that we have in the pattern, for you to see or understand where the complexity comes from. We have more than 1,000 contextual fields, stuff like what was the refund ratio over the last 30 days for a specific card and merchant. This is it's something that a human cannot have all of this in mind. There's really a lot of fields, and so when you write, let's say, a pattern that you'd like to investigate, then our AI generates 2, 3, 10 different rules that are potentially are of interest, and suggests immediately thresholds of application for those rules, and then also allows you to test those rules, and have data, have metrics.
Excellent. So it's taking the cognitive load off humans and making you to be able to do more, and then also having the possibility of testing out these rules, see how they work. So I suppose that's creating value then for the users. And is that something that's like that you're doing internally and that you're thinking of introducing into the product, or?
It's something, it's something that we use internally, and we will roll out to the actual platform very, very soon. So that's something that our clients will be able to do themselves. On the platform very, very, very soon. It's something that we're using extensively.
Excellent. We touched on compliance there, and I just wanted to check in with you on DORA, because I know that there's 22,000 financial institutions in the EU which are directly regulated by DORA, but that they're that they're required to have that kind of visibility into the service levels and the incidents that are taking place in their suppliers and also in the supply chain to their suppliers. So I just wanted to check in with you to see how is that turning up in your space currently, and do you see it as being a big deal, or?
Well, I think it is a big deal for regulated entities, of course, and they really care about this. We need to support them. So every client that we have in Europe has right now a DORA section
Yes.
in their contract that applies to the service that we render to them. And it is from an operational perspective. At some point, it will start having an impact as well.
Yeah.
Right now, because we thankfully we haven't had any major incidents, or our clients didn't have any major incidents, so we didn't have to really we didn't have to do anything from an operational perspective yet, but we're ready. So
Yeah.
it's about
Yeah.
it's about understanding, having a business continuity plan, or being ready and
Yeah.
prepared for
Yeah.
when problems occur.
When the problems occur and trying to mitigate them. And have you got the ISO 27001?
Yes.
So that
Yeah.
brings you a lot of the answers or questions or
Absolutely.
people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think we've seen some of the problems is having commercially sensitive information being shared across financial ecosystem. Sometimes that you're saying, well, we're disclosing this, so it's just going to your auditors and the regulator, or being comfortable, or even that your suppliers passing that information through. So
Mhm.
cool. So Joao, like really, you've been on an amazing journey. I think probably spinning out from a bank is not a bad place for a fintech to start, right? With known problem and that credibility, and it seems that you've been able to scale really well, really fast, innovate so much. So, what do you see as being the kind of big challenges and opportunities in the 12-month horizon?
Yeah. So for us, I mean, we are growing rapidly. We're expanding rapidly. We're deploying in different regions, and our team is under pressure.
Imagine.
So from an operational perspective, there's some adjustments that we need to do, and really we need to go to the next level. And that's we're actually raising a round right now. Our current investors are extremely supportive,
Fantastic.
and they've been with us, a lot of them, for many years now. We have one that's going to come in soon, most likely, and that injection of capital is going to allow us to go to the next level. We're basically profitable right now, but the fuel for growth needs to come from elsewhere, because otherwise your growth is a lot slower than
Suboptimal
it
if you're
can be.
just kind of bootstrapping.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's really where, in the next 12 months, it's really about consolidating what we have, and just increasing our operational ability, and yeah, just grow.
Yeah, sounds like you'll be doing a lot of that. And then in the longer term, then say the 5 years, what's the vision? What's the plan?
So 5 years is a very long time. We've been
It
around
is.
for
It is.
basically 6 years. So that's it's really a long horizon, especially for a startup that we're still rather small. So I would say in 5 years, what we ambition to do is to have a very comprehensive suite of products that allows us to cover basically everything that our clients need, even when it comes to KYC, KYB,
Right.
when it
Yes.
comes to sanctions, screenings, etc. And we will start by doing it via partnerships, which we already have. So we're already offering that to our clients, but we will most likely uh, end up bringing those partnerships. So strengthening those partnerships, maybe inorganically, maybe some, uh,
Mm-hmm.
or we'll build certain parts of the platform
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
But we may as well buy some important pieces of the
Yeah.
puzzle. And this is where I see the market going, especially for larger companies that are a little bit more mature, that are, for instance, changing their underlying processors or tech providers, and they have basically the opportunity to start things on a clean slate,
Yes.
and they really want to go with as few as possible vendors, especially in fields that are not core to
Yeah.
their business.
Right.
So compliance, anti-money laundering, fraud detection, onboarding, etc., KYC, KYB. It's an umbrella
Yes.
that right now, for someone to be able to cover all of their operations, they most often need to use several vendors, 2, 3 vendors, and we ambition to be a one-stop shop.
Right. And that can reduce the complexity, and that you can provide the maybe insights right across the stack.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. That's fascinating. I'm sure that you're going to get there and go beyond it as well. Thanks so much for coming on the pod and sharing the insights on the amazing journey you've had so far. I really appreciate it, and I think it will certainly be interesting to our audience. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.